first chemo. He lied to his doctors, said he was a moderate drinker. Maybe a few glasses of wine. So what? He was doing great fucking work. If the righteous were rewarded, he'd still be with us. I wanted him to get away with it. I did not want another lesson in playing it safe. Live wholesome hell and you can still end up riddled with cancer. In recent years, we'd meet rarely, mostly at Bachiso's on the corner of San Pablo and Dwight for lunch. And most of the time he'd talk, and I'd listen to stories about murderers with childhoods, bad childhoods, and later women who killed their abusers. His stories made me envious. His life was so much more interesting than mine. I felt like a living Berkeley stereotype, living in a bubble, seldom stepping outside my comfort zone. I played it safe and became a lawyer. He improvised, became a private eye, that quintessential outsider who fits in nowhere and everywhere, the realist with a heart of gold who knows all our secrets, the guy who can kick it with the rich and the powerful and the poor and the powerless, comfortable in bars and cocktail lounges and airports and hotels and prison visiting room and lawyers' offices and newsrooms and TV studios, making money, spending more than he earned, going bankrupt, and keeping on going. Before he became a private detective and found his calling at Newsreel and then much later at the law offices of Jones and Shannon, where I think he began his career as a private eye, he was never the alpha male. That role went to the overeducated, middle-class white guys who could argue theory till everyone else gave up or fell asleep. Born to lead with inbred confidence, or at least a show of it, who can impressively articulate the current situation, the political implications, the necessity of this and that, with appropriate references to militant struggles elsewhere. At Jones and Shannon was the lawyers with the law degrees who were the top dogs. Bobby was not the top dog, he was the second fiddle, and then he became his own orchestra. And what extraordinary music he made with his life. A bit wild, improvised, but anything but boring. He went down fighting, throwing wild punches, ripping out his IV tubes, shaking the prongs of the oxygen feed from his nostrils, insisting on getting out of bed and putting his swollen legs down despite the nurses' constant hopeless efforts to keep them elevated, writing angry emails to his employees who didn't know shit, were trying to take over his cases, counting him out before the round was over. He never accepted he was dying, never willing to say, send in those nice hospice workers with their inexhaustible supply of painkillers, which, in better of times, he would have enjoyed. He never gave up, so he died in the clutches of the doctors by the beeping monitors of the ICU. I love Bebo's story of the last contact. He's on his way out, on the edge of the precipice. Words, a thing of the past. Is he with us? Does he know it's his Bebo there by his bedside? She leans over to him. Bobby, she says, if you want a martini, raise your right hand. And if you want a Manhattan, raise your left hand. And his left hand rises slightly from the bed sheets, and his fingers wiggle. That rascal, yes! So I'm angry. Score one for death. I was rooting for the life instinct to win out. It should be okay to drink and smoke and stay up late and tell amazing stories with yourself at the center and live recklessly and a little self-destructively and make it up as you go along and really good at what you do and win. I miss him terribly. Much love to you, Bobby. A toast to your amazing life.
Before